22-year-old Andrew Youngbloom is suing his former friend, 22-year-old Ryan Festag, for unpaid rent after he broke their lease.
You're Andrew.
Yes. Ryan.
How long do you two know each other?
2 years.
You went to school together?
Yes, ma'am.
What school?
South Dakota State?
Are you still there?
No, ma'am.
And what about you?
Yes.
What are you doing now, Ryan?
I'm a foreman for a tree climbing company.
So you didn't finish college?
No, ma'am.
Is there a reason for that?
I just was ready to take some time off and work, make some money.
Well, while you were at South Dakota State, you and the plaintiff decided to room together.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign a lease, Andrew?
Yes. Yeah, I have it right here.
I'd like to see it. How many were there in the house?
8.
That sounds about right. Was it a mess?
Yes.
I don't understand how young men survive, you know, living off campus with 8 men in that house without getting some sort of bacterial infection on a regular basis.
Well, I could ding for that, Judge Judy. I agree. As a bit of a neat freak myself, I totally can't stand messiness and things smelling and all that. Couldn't do it then. Still can't do it today. It's just not something that I'm all about. But what I am all about is checking out one of your comments from the super community down below at the end of this video. So apparently rent wasn't paid by Ryan, and Ryan left school. So, you know, they were friends for 2 years. You know, it's a shame. During your college years, you're supposed to be making these friendships and these connections that last you a lifetime, that, you know, help you get into other open doors for each other that wouldn't necessarily be able to be open because you wouldn't know that person. And once you get to know that person, you know, you trust and you build that friendship, that bond. So it's a shame that these guys couldn't, you know, that they weren't able to get there or aren't there currently. But hey, Ryan became a foreman, so like that's not a terrible thing, a terrible position to hold necessarily. You know, tree guys, they're always been, there's always some tree that has to get cut up and chopped down and dug out. So you know, it's not a bad industry to be in, especially if you're not the one that has to put all the money out for the equipment and pay all the bills and the insurance and all the things that go along with owning the business. But there's a lot of responsibility as well.
Anyway, 8 of you signed the lease. Ryan's share of the rent was $300. You stayed until when?
Until the end of the semester, so it would have been May.
And how many more months did you have to go on your lease?
On the full lease, we had just re-signed in April.
Well, Andrew here says that it took him a while to get another roommate, and during that time, all the other roommates had to sort of kick in to cover your rent.
Andrew was well aware that I wasn't going to be coming back, and
well, you can't tell me what he was aware of. You signed a lease in what month?
In April.
And that was for the next year?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you decide not to come back?
I had talked to Andrew about not coming back when he asked me to sign the lease again. He said that they wouldn't be able to keep the house if they didn't have all 8 rooms filled. And I had let him know that I wasn't planning on coming back.
What did you say to him?
I said, I'm not coming back, but if you need...
That's not true, Your Honor.
Of course it's not true. I know, of course it's not true. I mean, I could tell from the way you're relaying the story, it's not true.
That's a fact.
Because that's not even what you wrote in your answer.
That's a fact. We had talked about it.
It's not what you wrote in your answer.
Okay.
That's not what you wrote in the paper, right? That's the thing, is like, if the answer is, I'm just doing you a favor, I'll do you a favor, I know you need somebody, I'll put my name down. Like, that's I wish I had the anti-bell button. That is a big red flag. Do not do that, because now you are going to be on the hook for money. And while the landlord isn't looking for that money, the people that fronted your amount of money are going to be looking for it, as they are in this case. And here they are now in Judge Judy's court, trying to get this money situation straightened out.
Let's go further. I'm going to let you dig the grave. Now, why did you tell him you weren't going to be able to come back?
Because I had a job during the summer.
What does the during the summer have to do with school year?
Well, the lease was for a full year.
Yes.
And then I decided after my job I was working there, I liked it, and I didn't want to come back to school. I was ready to take some time off.
Your Honor, he didn't
No,
come.
just 1 second. Ryan,
Yes, ma'am.
let me tell you why you should have stayed in school.
Okay.
Judge Judy
And let me tell you, Andrew, keep your mouth shut. Let the Judge Judy's already walking through all of the things to make it happen, right, for you. Like, she's literally doing your job right now, Andrew. Keep your mouth shut. Let them talk, right? You already, you're the plaintiff. It's already out there what you're looking for and why you're looking for it. And clearly Judge Judy is already digging, helping Ryan dig that hole. So just keep it closed. Let them do the talking.
says former roommate Ryan Festag broke their lease when he abruptly moved out.
Now, you should have stayed in school because you've been here a relatively short period of time. And in the short period of time that you've been here, you've told 3 different stories. In your sworn answer, you say that the reason you didn't go back was because Andrew and his friends did too much partying. So that you told them that you weren't coming back because they were doing too much partying. According to Andrew over here, you called and told him that you had gotten some trouble at a DUI or something and that you weren't coming back to school, but that was later on. Then you tell me that you told him in April, well, I told you I'm not coming back because now I'm going for the summer to work, and it wasn't until you were working during the summer that you decided you didn't want to go back to school at all. So that's 3 different stories. Did you get a DUI during the summer?
Yes, ma'am.
Did it cost you a lot of money?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
Just the fine for the DUI was $1,000. Then the classes totaled up to another couple $100.
Who were you living with during the summer?
My parents.
They said to you, your DUI, your dollar.
Yes, ma'am.
I assume you had to pay them back.
Yes, I actually paid the DUI in full.
Okay. Now, did you have a roommate during the summer?
We
To
had
cover
one-
for-
we had
Now,
what?
What? Wait, what?
did you?
What she was trying to answer the question. I don't know, man. Judge Judy is still getting out there in these years. That's season 18, episode 169. So I think she was on for like 22 years before switching to the new show. It's definitely getting out there. Yeah, I mean that really sucks. But taking some responsibility for it, for a DUI is important, especially as a young person to, pay it up and put the work in to make it happen. Take the classes, do community service or whatever it is that you have to do to make it right. But it is ironic that, like, hey, those guys are partying too much. And then, like, oh, it turns out I went and ended up having a DUI myself. Man.
You have a roommate for him. You're starting to get red. It's one of those things that happens to blue-eyed people. When they start to get flushed and fib, what happens, Andrew, is your cheeks get red.
I know.
Sorry for you. You his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy. Where were you, Andrew? Did you have a roommate during the summer that paid his share of the rent?
From May until the end of July, and then once August started.
May, June, and July for 3 months.
Yes.
So you had those 3 months to look for a new roommate, if you needed one, for the remainder of the school year.
Yes, but I did not know that I needed one until August.
Okay, so he didn't call you till August.
No.
And when he called you in August, he told you about the DUI.
Yes. That he couldn't come back until it was all figured out.
How long did it take you to find another roommate?
Till the next semester in January.
So about 5 months.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, did anybody else crash in his room during that time?
No.
Do you know, Ryan, if anybody crashed in your room during that time?
No, ma'am, I don't know.
What efforts did you try to make in September to get another roommate?
We tried asking around. There were some people that we had known, but everyone already had their plans
Had
figured
their
out for the year.
accommodations for September.
Yeah.
Anything else anybody wants to tell me?
Yes, ma'am. I actually have a text message that I got from Andrew saying that they found somebody that could take over my...
You see? Hey, if you want us to get someone to cover your room, let me know. School starts Monday. And you say,
oh,
you
boy.
got somebody in mind? And he says, I guess there's a new kid that could. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. He said that they had...
No, that's not what he said.
This...
No, that's not what he says at all. Because then you say, okay, I'll let you know by Saturday.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
And we had a phone call.
Well, I don't know that at all.
Saturday.
When, for the first time, Ryan, did Andrew tell you that they didn't have a roommate and he wanted you to cover your part of the rent until they could get one the following semester, which is not really outrageous because you let him know in August, not in April, because this is not April. This is August. When did he tell you?
The basic calendar math. Yeah, you know, it's so tricky. I know quite a few friends had done the house hacking stuff going through college, and it works out until it doesn't work out. It really works well if you have some really great, responsible, you know, people that want to be there. But you know, when you have 4, 5, 7, 8 people living in one house, any number of things could start to, like, you know, send it into a death spiral. And sometimes in that case, it could be something as simple as you know, like this case where Ryan isn't really sure what he's going to do. Is he going to go back to school? Is he not going to go back to school? He found a job, started to find a path. You know, okay, maybe I don't go back to school, right? Maybe I'm not going to go and spend that money. And meanwhile, you have these people on the hook, like, you know, I hate to say that he should have let him know. Like, he probably should have figured it out before July, you know, probably by June, from April to June, probably had an idea. Like, I'm not going to go back. I'll just, you know, take a with a gap year or whatever and figure something out. And then I could, you know, you could always get housing later, except in this case where they were allegedly having trouble, but then apparently weren't having trouble finding somebody for a room. You know, I get having things up in the air and kind of being like in a fork in the road. I've been there. It's tricky. It's made more tricky for other people around you, and I think being cognizant of that is really important. And you know, by a certain point, like, you just gotta make up your mind, right, so that other people aren't being at a disadvantage because of you. And it's kind of like musical chairs, right? Like, the music's gonna stop, school's gonna start, and everyone's gonna have a place to stay, because you're not going to have too many people coming in after school has already started for the semester. So, you know, you gotta pooper, get off the pot kind of thing.
You know that he couldn't get somebody.
He never told me that I don't have anybody to live there.
When did he ask you for rent money?
Not 100% sure when he...
Give me a month.
Would have been October, maybe, was the first time.
So you knew that in October they didn't have somebody to cover for your rent.
Yes, ma'am.
So why didn't you try to get a roommate?
I did. I had offered to put an ad out on Craigslist for them.
What did you do?
What do you mean, what did I do?
Craigslist is free. What are we talking about? You know, I'll put an ad up on Craigslist for you. Come on, man. Come on.
What did you do to try to get somebody to cover your rent?
Another commercial break. So That's what we're doing to pay the rent. We're doing commercial breaks here.
Then he said that they could find somebody. It's just not going to last.
You owe him $1,500.
I don't think I owe
That's
him
your
anything.
rent. That's your obligation. You have a responsibility. Your responsibility was you signed a lease. You got a DUI. You had other expenses. That turns out to be your problem. You can't visit your problem on 7 other people who have the same kind of financial obligations that you do. They have school and books and transportation and food and everything else. And because you acted like a fool and got a DUI and decided to stay and work instead of going back to school, it was your responsibility to find another roommate and not say, listen, I'm here and, you know, get somebody. They did get somebody for the summer, which was great. Otherwise, your exposure would have been greater. Grow up, be a big boy, take care of your responsibilities.
What is the excuse you missed about?
Oh, it's like she reminded me of Al Pacino there.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Oh,
And
goodness.
on the next Judge.
That's, oh man, that's terrible. Let's see what the wrap up here is.
He wasn't ready to give it to us.
It sucks that, you know, losing a friend over a monetary thing.
He wasn't willing to settle it outside of the courtroom, so that was the only option I had.
But, you know, if you can't
If he would have, you know, accepted the truth, it would have been a lot easier to figure stuff out
be civil, then it's fine.
than lying about it.
No, we never had a good living environment.
I mean, it wasn't. There's 8 boys that live there. It's obviously not the cleanest house.
It was, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I don't have to worry about what you say or how you feel about it.
But, you know, they all tried to respect each other and talk things through.
It was crazy, partying all the time.
Obviously, he was the one that partied too much.
We had talked about it, but it was one of those things where nobody really cared.
You can't mix friendship and money.
I'm glad that I don't have to worry about a backstabbing friendship anymore.
Oh man, that is terrible to hear. What's not terrible to hear though is Pablo and Bella saying you should do 1 episode per day so we can enjoy lunch or breakfast with a fresh new episode instead of binge watching LOL. Well, I am trying to make that happen. It is time has just been so compressed. I'm doing my best to be able to make this happen. I'm trying to get to like 5, get back up to like 5 days a week. It's a treadmill. It's a grind. So I have some other content that I want to put together, some self-development stuff that goes for leadership, self-developing leaders, content as well, and some other business Q&A stuff. But just the time is just so hard to get right now. Kids are in so many things, and every business is run like going crazy. So I'm trying my best. So here we are on a Thursday night recording some videos. I appreciate you being here to the end. I'll see you in one of these 2 videos over here. Take care and go be super.